Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, by Shem Barakah Kudash Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you Akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the Brother Raya with another video, and I'll be reading from an article on activistpost.com titled, Police Officer Helps Homeless Man Struggling to Shave in the Rain. And as you can see in this picture, it's a Edomite, or so-called white cop, helping a Judite, or so-called black man, shave. And don't fall for the okie doke, Akim. This is Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. These Edomites have a perpetual hatred for you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And no matter what you see them doing to try to help Jake out, it's all just a facade. Because ever since this truth went mainstream in a sense, with the apostle elders going on to YouTube and these videos going out to the four corners of the globe, waking up the elect, all things have been revealed. It's been revealed who the true children of Israel are, what Babylon the Great is, which is the United States of America, what the mark of the beast is, which is the RFID/NFC microchip implant is, and who the Edomites are, which you so-called white people, and all the atrocities you've committed against the children of Israel, not just in the past, but all the way up until today. Remember that those cops that killed Eric Gardner and Alton Sterling got off with a slap on the wrist. So these random acts of so-called kindness that you see these cops doing are just a PR stunt to try to get some heat off of them. And it's also these Edomites feeling condemned in the spirit because they've been revealed to be Esau Edom, and their nature, their devilish, hateful nature towards Jacob has also been revealed to be biblical. And sadly, a lot of Jakes, especially Jakes that say they're Israelites, are going to fall for the okie doke. Look what's happened with Kanye West. You've had plenty of videos come out from brothers saying that false prophets are going to arise. They're going to try to take Jake out of this truth. And then here comes Kanye West, a celebrity, starting a Christian church. And you've got a bunch of Jakes out there saying, oh, all Israel should come together. Oh, Kanye West is speaking truth. We should all come together and love each other. And that's all just another front by Esau Edom to try to put you Jakes back to sleep. And that's why a lot of you Jakes are going to get caught up during Jacob's trouble and die a horrific death at the hands of these Edomites. And a lot of you Jakes suffer from something called Stockholm Syndrome. This is an article from wikipedia.org. Stockholm Syndrome is a condition which causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance with their captors during captivity. You coons out here bootlicking for Esau Edom whenever he does something wrong. A perfect example of that is Jesse Lee Peterson or Stacey Dash, or even Kanye West when he made those comments about slavery, saying that the slaves came here willingly. These alliances result from a bond formed between captor and captives during intimate time together, which Jake and Esau have had quite the intimate time together ever since we came into captivity in the Americas. But they are generally considered irrational in light of the danger or risk endured by the victims. The FBI's hostage barricade database system and law enforcement bulletin indicate that roughly 8% of victims show evidence of Stockholm Syndrome. And when we jump down to here, it says the four key components that characterize Stockholm Syndrome: a hostage's development of positive feelings towards the captor. Oh, that happened hundreds of years ago. These so-called white people aren't like that anymore. You just need to stop being angry and a racist and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Look at me. I got a little job and I'm making some money and have some good white friends. They even play basketball too. No previous relationship between hostage and captor. A refusal by hostages to cooperate with police forces and other government authorities. A hostage's belief in the humanity of the captor. Oh, we're all one people, we all bleed red, because they cease to perceive the captor as a threat when the victim holds the same values as the aggressor. Back in Sirach chapter 12, jump to verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, and the Most High is so cold. Look at this picture. This Edomite looks like he's humbling himself, and he's crouching down to help this Jake shave his face, which this Jake is going off too. He probably doesn't know he's an Israelite since he's a homeless man, but in the law it says you're not supposed to shave your face. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. He's still got that hateful spirit toward you Israelites. Set him not by thee, lest, when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. You Jakes who refuse to believe that Esau Edom is the devil and Satan that the Bible speaks of, and that they have a perpetual hatred towards you. Once these race wars kick off during Jacob's trouble, you're going to be a prime example of Isaiah chapter 13, where it says those that are found with him shall be thrust through. You Jakes are going to die a horrific death by these Edomites. You say, oh, that's my best friend. He would never do anything like that. And especially you Judite women, or so-called black women that are married to these Edomite men. They're going to put that work to you and your little tear kid. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. The Most High is not going to feel sorry for you. Yahushai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is not going to feel sorry for you. And the men of the Lord, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, out there on the highways and byways pushing this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, aren't going to feel sorry for you. We're going to laugh at your calamity in that day, because for all this time we've been warning you that these Edomites are your mortal enemies, but you've refused to listen to us. You suffer from that Stockholm Syndrome, and that's going to get you caught up. Let's read a little bit of this article. Since the topic of police brutality became a hot button issue, many officers have gone out of their way to demonstrate that not all cops are bad, though he humble himself and go crouching. In Detroit, Michigan, for instance, an officer was spotted helping a less fortunate man shave during a rain shower, and Detroit is a war zone for you Judites up there, and who knows how many Jakes that this Edomite has put away, planted false drugs or weapons on them, or put them to death. And if these cops were really so, what's that word I'm looking for? Benevolent towards you Jakes, then why haven't they done anything about those crates showing up in Jakes' neighborhoods full of weapons? It's because they want to see you Jakes kill each other to make their jobs that much easier. An example I always like to bring up is a friend of mine in the world whose northern tribes are so-called Latino. His sister went up to Detroit for a little while to hang out with some of her friends who were Judites, and she said that they found a crate in an alleyway one day full of Uzis and other weapons. Jill Mativa Schaefer on Facebook said, and you notice it's an Edomite, feeling convicted in her spirit, knowing that these Edomites have done you Jakes wrong, so they're trying to show these so-called acts of kindness to fool you Jakes into thinking that not all Edomites or not all cops are bad. What a great Detroit cop. This is right outside Comerica Park. The game was a rainout, but this officer went way above and beyond to help this man shave. The heartwarming photo was captured by Jill Mativa Schaefer of Saginaw Township, Michigan. When asked why she chose to capture the moment of kindness, she told Good Morning America, "I took the picture because I thought it was such a kind, unselfish thing for an officer to do, with all the negativity that police officers get, and rightfully so. I wanted to show them in a positive light." Schaefer explained that she and her family had just arrived for the Detroit Tigers game at the Comerica Park ballpark when it began to rain. That's when she noticed Officer Jeremy Thomas helping out Stanley Nelson. "I walked up and I said, 'Excuse me, sir,' And at that point, he's like, okay, I'll leave. See, this Jake already knew in his spirit that some trouble was about to come because he saw that police officer. And with him being 62 and homeless, you know these cops had fucked with him all throughout his life. And I said, no, do you need some help? Thomas told ABC affiliate WXYZ, and he turned around blindly and said, yes, thank you, God bless. According to ABC News, Nelson was attempting to shave after receiving a razor and shaving cream as a handout, but with no mirror, he was struggling, Nelson told WXYZ. What he did for me, that was all right. I really appreciate that because I'm going through my thing and I feel bad about myself, but I'm going to be all right. God's going to bless him for doing that for me, Nelson added. You can see this is an old bottle. He's got a good heart. He understands when you're out here on the street, look out for somebody because God will bless you. There's that Stockholm syndrome. Jake trusting that enemy, not remembering the former things, what the men of the Lord have warned you about. This is Ezekiel chapter 35. I'm going to read verse 3 through 5. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, which is synonymous with Esau, Edom, the so-called white people, because just like Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, Mount Seir is a people before it's a place as well. I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Mainly speaking about slavery, Jake was let go and was supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, but instead Jake got it even worse after slavery, with all those lynchings and Jim Crow up through the civil rights era to today. You've had the crack epidemic, among other drug epidemics, to try to destroy our communities, Planned Parenthood, these Jakes getting shot down dead in the streets, single parent households, so Esau Edom could break up the family and create a generation of weak men. The list goes on. And for that, the Most High is going to make your cities a waste and most desolate, beginning with Babylon the Great. That's going to be the first domino to fall that's going to take the rest of you Edomites down. It's going to get hit with those 200 million nuclear missiles, as well as the laser beams from the chariot of the Most High, turning it into the biblical lake of fire in a desolate wasteland. And then after that, Israel's going to come back into power, and we're going to go into these other places where you Edomites dwell and slap chains on you and put you into slavery for that 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery before you're a permanent eradication afterwards. But let's go into that word perpetual. Perpetual, never ending or changing, everlasting, never ending, eternal, permanent, unending. That's why the Most High said back in Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, never trust thine enemy, because they have a perpetual hatred towards you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And this goes back to the beginning when we were struggling in the womb, as well as Esau, Edom still being mad at us for getting the blessing and the birthright. This is Genesis chapter 25. I'm going to read verse 22 to 23. And the children struggled together within her, speaking of when Rebekah was pregnant with Jacob and Esau. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Point blank period. 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, meaning Jacob and Esau were never meant to come together. That's why there's always animosity when they're both in the vicinity of each other. And for you Israelites out there that have hung out with Edomites for an extended period of time, you can always sense some type of tension in your spirit, that if somebody says the wrong thing, emotions will get flared up and some kind of conflict will happen. And the one people shall be stronger than the other. Speaking of you Israelites, or so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, just look at sports, for instance, and just look at our condition in general. Jake's in the lowest estate he's ever been in, but yet these heathens still want to be like us, especially you Judites, or so-called Negroes. They have a saying where it says, black people make the hood look good. You've got these heathens putting on their hat backwards, sagging their pants, worshiping these so-called black athletes, and listening to rap and hip-hop, and using the vernacular that Jake uses. And the elder shall serve the younger. You Edomites shall serve Jacob in the end, because we've got the blessing and the birthright to the kingdom. And it's very spiritual and symbolic that when Esau came out first, Jacob was holding on to his heel, showing that we're going to pull you out of your rulership in the end, which goes into 2 Esdras chapter 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, or this current system of things, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, the kingdom of heaven to come, when there will finally be peace on this earth. This is Genesis chapter 27 verse 38 to 41, the real beginning of that perpetual hatred. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, because Jacob had supplanted Esau out of his blessing. While Esau was out hunting food for his father Isaac, Rebekah made Jacob to look like Esau by putting his clothing on him, and made food for Jacob to bring to Isaac. And since Isaac was pretty much blind at that point, he tasted the food that Esau was known for making for him, and felt the clothes, and it felt like Esau's clothes, and it smelled like Esau, so he thought it was Esau, so he gave Jacob the blessing to the kingdom. And it was all meant to happen in the spirit. Jacob was always going to get that blessing. Verse 39, And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. And you can see these Edomites living out their blessing right now. They're in control of the earth. Verse 40, And by thy sword shalt thou live, their military might, which these Edomites have the strongest military on the planet right now. They think nobody's ever going to take them down because they have nuclear weapons, but those nuclear weapons are going to be the main key to your downfall. And shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Beginning around the time after King David had died, these Edomites broke the yoke off their neck of the Israelites and started bucking up again. And then you go to the Renaissance, where they came back into power, and now today, where they have the dominion, where they're in control of the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. But it's quickly fallen out of their hands. That's why they're going out of power. That's why their birth rates are declining globally. Their economies are on the verge of collapse, and their women are starting to deal with these other nations of men. Verse 41, And Esau hated Jacob with that perpetual never-ending hatred, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And they've still got that spirit today. So to you Akim out there, whenever you see these Edomites do something nice for Jake, don't fall for the okie doke. Back in Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10, Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. And as always, I'm going to say Abba Bal, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.